Well, hello. Time for our Q&A. Number 127. I don't know. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with Kathy Conley. Okay, go ahead.
I pray your uncle has a miraculous recovery. He looks so good and healthy, and so does your other uncle. They must have been very young when your dad got married. They look like they are young enough to be your brothers and not your uncles. Why are straws being outlawed?
Yeah, she was talking about my uncles, my two uncles that are left out of my dad's family. And they have young genes or something. They just look young.
Yeah.
Sylvan, that he just turned 80 or 81. And Sanford is 79. But, why?
He's only 1 year older than me.
I know, that's crazy, huh?
But then about the straws, I'll say.
Yeah, go ahead and say the straws.
There's two reasons about straws being outlawed. First of all, it kills fish. They swallow the plastic, and then it just stays there, and they can't live with straws. And the second one is that's the main thing people have to clean up everywhere is straws from people.
Yeah, it seems kind of, I don't know, silly to be focusing on that.
But if you're on a beach, somebody has to probably go miles and miles and pick up all the straws and cups, but mostly straws.
Yeah, I think there's enough troubles in the world without focusing on straws, but apparently California is focusing on straws. They have prison time if they are seen giving a straw to someone. But I don't know. I think it's crazy. But oh well, if that's what they want to focus on.
It's a good idea.
Well, there's other things that need to be taken care of first.
No, but you got to think of the poor little fish that
poor
die.
little fishies. Okay, let's. So that's why. Okay, Peachums. I'm going to look back at this recipe. She's talking about the egg sausage casserole, breakfast casserole, and cook it sometime for breakfast. And she wants us to remind her when we're going to be singing at the Weber Fair. And that'll be this Friday, the 11th of August, and we'll be up at the Weber Fair at 2 o'clock. So if anybody happens to be living around there, come by and say hi. That'll be fun. We'll be there for about an hour. And we sing there every year.
Oops, I was kind of going out of the picture here.
Yeah, you got to stay in. Okay, why don't you read the next one, Kimberly Niven?
Yep. Prayers for your brother.
Thank you.
Does he have access to hospice? So he's nowhere near hospice. That means waiting to die.
Sylvan?
No, that's just your brother.
I think she thinks it's my brother, but it's actually Sylvan, my uncle. And what else does she say?
It says if he is close, like you say, they can step in and make sure that he gets the best pain control.
Yeah.
Hard to watch people suffer.
It is. Yeah. He said his doctor was on vacation, so we'll see what happens when the doctor gets back and see. He says he's just in a lot of pain. Doesn't think he has much time left. And this is my uncle. He looks like my brother, but he looks a lot like my dad. But if the pain gets real bad, then they will put him on hospice, and I'm still praying, hoping for a miracle that he'll be able to get through it, because he did look good. He looked so good at the wedding. He didn't look sickly or anything. He said he's lost 20 pounds, and he's just in a lot of pain now. And that he'd been in pain for about 3 or 4 days. And then just see what happens when the doctor calls back. We'll keep you posted on that when the doctor comes back home. Okay, why don't you read the next one?
Okay, Ramiro Valencia. Who is the youngest grandkid?
Oh, yeah, that would be little Charlotte. She is 9 months old, and she's a cutie. She's number 27. She's youngest. We have 15 girls and 12 boys. And so there's just a lot of joy, and little Charlotte's the youngest. And the oldest is 18, almost 18. Okay, why don't you read the next one?
Next one is Olivia Salicos. How long have you had the treehouse? Okay, I'll start it off because I'm the one that built.
He's the builder.
I built the first one, and I built the floor on the second one. Anyway, so we've
that's actually the second treehouse.
Yeah, so we've had 2 tree houses. This is the second one. The first one I built, and it was actually between 2 trees, and I built a Indiana Jones walk, but I was scared to go on it myself because it had rope with things in it. That one stayed up how many years?
I'd say 10.
Stayed up a lot of years.
At least 10. Davy was 10 when we built it, and Jimmy Joe was on his mission when it came down.
And they loved to sleep up there or just go up and talk. And then when it blew down, it stayed. The day it blew down, there was a strong wind, and
it had already cracked.
And this heavy snowfall.
From the snowfall.
There was no snowfall. There was no crack. It was the little teeny 2x4 that I'd nailed to the tree that it was sitting on, and rocking it had come off one of those 2x4s. But anyway, what I was going to do it came off, and I was going to put a 2x4 up and a jack under it and jack it up, and then just put it there. And then the next morning was when I was going to do it, and I got out there, and there was a giant crash, and the whole thing blew out of the tree.
Yeah. I knew it was going to come down because it was a really windy day that day, and I had to go down and pick up some sewing, and when I came back it was down. I thought, oh good, now Joe won't be trying to jack it up and fix it. It would have fallen on him.
It would have fallen on me. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and the second tree house.
Okay, the second one.
How many years went between the two?
I'm not
10,
sure.
Probably 10.
A few years. The second one I decided to build a better one and a stronger one. So I got bolts probably, where's the thing?
Where are you?
Probably this wide. They were screw bolts.
That long.
I thought, and so it had to go, and so I built it with 4x4s. The bolt, is it the opposite of the way I'm pointing? I look at my finger in there.
We're looking at this opposite, so we get a little mixed up.
Anyway, the bolt, the screw bolt, had to go through a 4x4 and then into the tree. And so I made it so it was long enough to go completely through the 4x4.
So this is the floor that you're putting up.
Well, the 4x4s that'll hold the plywood.
Yeah.
And then I had it go about 6 or 8 inches into the tree. And I had to do a series of drilling holes because first when I put the drill bit in there, I had a wrench just to tighten it up, and it broke the top of the steel bolt right off.
Because you're screwing it into a live tree, so it's a little harder.
Well, it's because of the moisture inside.
Yeah, so it's a little harder. So this was in 2013.
So it took one whole summer just building a strong floor that's bolted to the tree. The tree will never fall over because it's all bolted together.
And then we had the neighbor next door just build the tree house and the bridge and stuff.
Well, my boys helped me put the floor up. We all nailed that together. And then my neighbor, he was a high-end carpenter up in Park City. That's a place for skiing in the wintertime. But he built the wall and the roof.
The bridge.
And he built the bridge between the trees.
And the playhouse that leads up to the treehouse.
Yeah, he did a lot of work.
So he did a lot of work, and he was out of work.
We paid him to do it.
Yeah, he was out of work and needed a job.
Roseanne's dad had passed away, and he left a few $100s. And, well, actually left $1,000 or so, but we paid him.
So we had the porch built. So this is about 5 years ago. And we had the porch built and then the tree house. So we've had it 5 years so far, this second one. And this one will stay up. It's not going to come down. The other one, it came down. Then this was more for the grandkids. The first tree house was for the kids, and then the second tree house is for the grandkids. So they really enjoy it. But that's a good question. I'll see if I can post some pictures of them. Okay, I'm here to dance. Does Papa O dislike eating out because of the crowds? I like going to restaurants between normal meal hours when they're not so busy. Otherwise, I also bring my food home to eat.
Well, you went along with the short answer. Just kidding.
Sure.
Okay. The main reasons I don't like to eat out is I don't like ordering and waiting. I don't enjoy
He wants
that.
his food now.
And the second one is I don't like somebody coming every 2 seconds and say, "Let me give you some more water," and I burn up a lot of time between leaving your house and actually starting to eat your food. That's what, 45 minutes or something. And I like what Roseanne cooks. She has a lot of
I'm
things.
a tough act to beat.
No, really, she really is. And we eat very healthy, and she makes everything from scratch, and it has good flavor. Her pizza and the crust on the pizza, I would never order pizza unless I had visitors here or something.
Yeah, even when we do eat out, he said, "Oh, I'd just rather you cook something."
And then her chicken noodle soup that she made the first time, my first meal, and put too much salt in it, but I ate it anyway. But she got better at that, and her chicken, there's just so many things that she makes that I love.
Well, thanks, son. Yeah, Papa likes buffets where he can just get the food, sit down and eat. But that's why he doesn't really, I don't know, do you like crowds?
I don't like to be close to people when I'm eating.
Yeah,
I just don't.
He'll sit where there's gaps between other tables.
Yeah,
or he doesn't want to sit where there's a lot of kids that are being noisy and what else?
Loud
talkers.
Or loud talkers.
Loud talkers.
No, I usually go in a corner where there's nobody around us.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why. And he just likes to eat at home, and he really likes KFC.
But I will say the buffet style, I could learn to like, but I don't like. It's not Chili's. It's
Golden Corral, Chuck-A-Rama.
Chuck-A-Rama.
Okay.
See, that's buffet, but I don't. Yeah. I don't like Chuck-A-Rama.
Yeah,
the food's good there, but
he just likes to eat at home, and if I go get the food and bring it home, he likes that. Okay, Frank Molina, Mama O, what is the and Papa O, what is the longest you've ran? I have run half a marathon.
Okay,
that's really good. Once.
I gotta answer what mine is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I started running in my 40s, and I paid my children to run at school, to be runners, because they were all not skinny, but they were just took to running a lot. So I started running in my 40s, and when I turned...
Yeah, Papa got us all running.
And when we got into running, Roseanne had to come with us, so I signed her up, and she fought it.
Well, you said that since I had skinny legs, I'd be a good runner.
That's what I told her.
I thought, oh, I hate running. At the time, I was leading an exercise class over at the church house. And I said, can't I just do that? And he'd sign me up. And I go, oh, I don't want to run.
No, I was doing it because the kids... I just had a strong feeling that they would become runners.
Yeah, and they did. All of us.
Two of them are Boston marathoners, but my first long race, I did a lot of half marathons, 10Ks, not that many 5Ks because I didn't like the 10Ks and halves. But then I started when I was 50. That's the age I was in when I ran my marathon.
He did his...
And it was one of the harder marathons because it's up in the mountains.
And he calls it his first and last marathon.
I just had
And he did it. You did it in under 5 hours.
So I've been running in 5 and 10Ks and half probably for a lot of years.
A lot of years. And there was probably a 3-year space where we just ran a race. We entered a race like 2 or 3 times a month. We did a lot of racing.
Well, usually, there were just a lot of races. But Roseanne started collecting trophies, and I got a few age group wins. I never was a prize runner, but
it's tough in the guys category.
I love running.
And I've never done a marathon, but I've done I don't know, maybe 6 half marathons and a bunch of 10Ks and some 5Ks. But that's the longest I've run is a half a marathon. And
you've done a few of those in the mountain too.
Yeah. So that's a good question. I'm proud of you for running one.
I think how I got picky about my eating is I read a long time ago that that meat takes, depending on how well you chew it, meat digests very slowly in your system. And so if you eat chunky meat, swallow it, it can take
It takes 72 hours at least.
Easily 3 days to get through your system. And you can start feeling bloated and just a little bit full. And we all felt better if we didn't eat when we were racing.
Yeah,
and so I picked up that habit.
Meat.
Eat meat.
Yeah, we eat, but not meat. Okay, Vicky Leisure. Did you say leisure or leisure?
Where is it? What's French? Leisure.
Leisure. Oh.
Leisure.
Vicky Leisure. She says, I lost my dad and my baby brother. Oh dear. Please tell me how to deal with the loss. That's tough. But what helps is to know that you will see them again. And it's kind of like their body is gone, but their spirit is still with you. And I bet you feel them around you. Like Papa, he's lost his mom and dad, and he's felt his dad around him before. You felt him in the car one time.
I felt him so strong one time out of nowhere. I turned to him and started saying something to him. And,
you can just sense that they're around and talk to them. Say stuff. If there's something, say, well, how you doing? Or you don't be afraid to talk to them when you feel that they're there, because you can tell.
We have no church doctrine on that, but my own feeling is that their spirits can get permission to come stay a few hours by you and be with you and just see how you're doing. And then they go back to being busy.
Yeah, and I think what else would why wouldn't they want to come around and see how you're doing? I mean, they're there. You just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. It's like talking to someone on a phone. You can't see them, but you know that they're there.
But here's another one though. I think one of the best things you can do is find somebody in your family or somebody and render a service to them, and you will find out, like, whoa, I didn't realize that person had all that problems, and then just you rendering some kind of service to somebody that's got really big problems.
Yes, and talk about them. If not, maybe even write their story, or just don't try and forget them, because why would you want to forget them? And time does heal, but it's very slow, and you'll never forget them, and the pain does lessen, but it won't go away, and you will miss them. But just hang on to that you will see them again, and you will give them a big hug, because this life on earth is really tiny to what we have in the future.
Just saying, I was going to say about my grandmother. She's from the pioneer time of covered wagons and everything, and the day they were to close on the home, finally had their own home, he had a heart attack at 55 years old, and she lost him. And she was one of those fighters just from really hard times. Like 5 out of her 8 brothers and sisters died of cholera and different diseases.
And her mother died when.
And her mother died having the last 2 children.
Yeah,
who also
death
died.
is hard to deal with. It is, but you don't dwell on it and just say, "Well, I'll see them again." And
but what I was going to say in connection with her, she moved in the neighborhood of my other aunts, and she got certified as a nurse all the time. And for the next 45 years, she bought her own home and paid for it. And when
she did a lot of service.
And when she was in her 90s, all through her 90s, she would go visit old folks like her, but she was in a stronger shape. And so I'm just saying, she could have just crawled inside of herself, but she her main goal was serving other people, or helping and talking to people that were her age and were having losses.
Yes, and just just hang on to that they're there. They're there. They're not gone. Read that last this is the last question. Read that name. He's better at these names than I am.
Soleil Bolduc. Sounds French to me, but okay. I didn't know you suffered from that.
That's when we're talking about panic attacks.
How has Papa O helped you with them?
Actually, Papa O helps a lot with my panic attacks because he doesn't baby me. You know, he doesn't sit and try and fix it. He just says, we got to move on. You know, you just got to get through it. And you don't coddle me. You know, he doesn't.
I comfort you, but not coddle you.
Yes, and don't try and fix it with pills.
But I didn't make fun of him. I believed him because there are people that think panic attacks are in their imagination.
They used to think that back when I first started having them, you know, 40, 50 years ago. They didn't know what they were. They says, oh, it's just in your head. You're just making it up. It's not real. But now we know better. We know that it's real and that it is fixable. And
were you having them when we were running?
Oh yeah. Well, there was a space there where I wasn't having them. I guess I was too busy raising kids and had too much stuff to worry about.
I think because you were also running, exercising.
Yeah. I exercise now, but they're hard to figure out. It's just a chemical imbalance, and you just have to learn how to do your breathing right and stuff. But Papa O helps a lot by not pampering me and making me feel like an invalid, but just to get through them. And they don't last that long, and you just kind of have to deal with them. And but that was nice of you to ask. And we'll go ahead and close with a couple of quotes. Let's see if I can get quotes here. Go ahead and read one of those. And welcome to our new subscribers. And comment below what if you'd like to.
Here's an interesting one from Mother Teresa. It's kind of, tell me what she means by it.
Okay.
I think I'm more difficult than critical.
She thinks she's more difficult than critical. Interesting.
Well, I think she has her.
I think she's just not critical. She's just difficult. Maybe she'll.
See, she was a nun in the Catholic Church and at a certain cathedral, and she decided she wanted to. She's reading in India how people were dying in the streets of hunger and poverty, and she said, I want to go and be there and show them love just before they die.
Yeah, die in honor.
Yeah, well, yeah, die with love.
Die with love, yeah.
And she would hold them and cradle them, and of course, they didn't have social services, and even the Catholic Church wasn't able to help them. But still, it's kind of like the starfish thing.
Yeah.
Tell them about the starfish.
Well, I did in one of them where he doesn't want to worry about saving the starfish, because what does it matter? Because there's thousands of them. He says, well, it matters to the one that I saved. Yep. Okay, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. Buddha.
Say it again.
Say it again. Okay. Yeah. What you think you will become.
Wow.
What you feel you attract.